It's hot. That's how I'm feeling. It's hotter than a blister bug in a pepper patch. I know you ain't asking about the weather. You want to know how I'm feeling about what happened last night. Well, I'm still trying to put that together. It's about the longest I've gone without having a drink in 7 years. I didn't drink after the fire last night, and I ain't had a sip of beer today. Not yet. My mind ain't been this clear in a long time. And I know they ain't have to kill that boy. It's tragic. That's what it is. It's a tragedy. One of the saddest things I've seen around here, and I've seen a lot. That's why they call me the mayor. Because I've been around here longer than just about anybody. Sal's Pizza. I was Sal's first customer 25 years ago. It wasn't my intention to be. I wasn't from here to start. I was born in Clinch County, Georgia in 1917. Now, it ain't going to make no news for me to tell you what life was like for a black child in Georgia in 1917. And by the time I was 20, I was out of there. Played baseball in the Negro Leagues all over the South. And I might not look it now, but if you ask any man seen me play, he'll tell you I was the fastest base runner this side of heaven. If you put me in the majors, I'd have been the fastest base runner there too. That was my dream, being a major league ball player. When I realized I had about as much chance of joining the major leagues as I had of flapping my arms and flying away, I joined the war. Had dreams of being a hero, Jesse Owens on the battlefield. But I never saw the battlefield. They made me a cook. Didn't leave North Carolina the entire war. But I took pride in my cooking. I always said, you can't do right if you ain't fed right. So I did the best I could with what they gave me. And they made me head of the kitchen. The men who ate my food was the best fed soldiers in the war. That's how I played my part. When I got back home to Georgia, I was determined to open a restaurant right there. But it became clear right away that I might as well start flapping my wings and trying to fly away again, because I wasn't going to get a loan. And if I got the money, I wasn't going to get a license. But that didn't stop me. I started setting up meals. Dinners on Tuesdays and Thursdays and breakfast on Saturdays. All you can eat for 75 cents. Then there was Sunday dinner. That cost you $1.25, but that was our biggest meal every week. The word got around that whatever you do during the week, you better make sure you save that $1.25. It was going to get you fried chicken and fish, pork chops and greens and cabbage, macaroni and cheese, 3 kinds of potatoes, biscuits, and oh, the dessert, maybe peach cobbler, maybe apple pie, maybe both. I met Ann at Sunday dinner. She was coming from church. She tried to get me to go to church, but I tell her, I can't miss cooking up Sunday dinner. God wouldn't want me to disappoint his children coming from service. And I never did disappoint. Do you know that we kept those dinners going for more than 12 years without missing a Sunday? Then, word of mouth spread to the wrong mouths, and we were shut down just like that. Suddenly, I'm 45 years old, married to Ann, and don't know where my next job is coming from. I got offered the chance to be an assistant to a white cook in a restaurant in Atlanta, but I couldn't do that, not after running my own business for 12 years. So me and Ann packed up what we had, and we went north. Brooklyn, 1963. The day we moved in, a shoe repair store was closing down at the corner of our block. That was it. It was a sign. That store was going to be my restaurant. And if that wasn't enough, Ann was pregnant with our first child. Man, don't need no more fire than that to get cooking. The day after we settled in, I went right to the bank to tell them that I needed a loan to get that building at the corner of my block and started making the best soul food north of the Mason-Dixon. I told them about the Sunday dinners. They started asking about bookkeeping and taxes. I tried to explain the situation, but they said they needed proof that I could run a restaurant. I had people from Georgia start sending me letters about the dinner, but that wasn't enough. Then I had the idea of getting letters from someone who knew my cooking from the military. I looked up every name I could remember, and I found a couple, talked them into writing letters. It didn't matter. I don't think a letter from the president himself would have mattered. I was on a wild goose chase, and I knew it. But I was willing to run through hell and half of Georgia if there was any chance of me getting my restaurant. Then I saw it. A banner across the storefront. Across my restaurant. Coming soon. Sal's famous pizzeria. I was in line the morning Sal's opened. Needless to say, I wasn't there to buy a slice. I was there to give that man a slice of my mind. And he got it. But he didn't say a word. Here he is, a 30-year-old Italian man, little Pino by his side, couldn't have been more than 6 years old at the time. And a black man comes running into his restaurant the day it opens, telling him that he stole the place. What could he say? So I asked him, "Who the hell are you?" Turns out he was the first of his family born in the United States. Now, my family has been on this great land since before it was the United States, and he could get a loan that I couldn't. It wasn't his fault. He was just trying to live his dream and do for his family the same as I was for mine. He offered me pizza on the house. I told him no. I could pay for my own pizza. Then he said if there was anything he could ever do for me, and I stopped him right there. I told him I don't mind being a customer, but I am my own man and would not need any help from him. I bought some pizza home to Ann. It was good pizza. But it ain't soul food. So there you have it. I was the first man to buy pizza from Sal's Famous. He framed the dollar bill I gave him, so he might not have any black faces on the wall, but he sure has a black man's dollar hanging somewhere. Those boys didn't go into Sal looking for all that to happen. They're young men with a lot of energy, just trying to have some say about something. Bugging out, just want to see some sign that he has value. A picture on the wall. Radio Rashim, I watched that boy grow up. I know what he's been through. He found his identity in that radio. He grabbed a hold of that song, Fight the Power. I bet he couldn't tell you who the vice president is, but he knew that his life was going to be a fight. They ask me why I'm always drinking. But when I think of all the dreams I had that'll never come true, I take a drink. When I think of all the promises I made my wife and kids that I had to break, I take a drink. And when I see these young men in front of me with so much potential, knowing that too many of their dreams and promises will be choked out, they didn't have to kill that boy. All these news cameras you bring around here after the fact, I wish you could just leave them here sometimes so you can see the way the police treat these young men, the little regard they have for their lives, choking them to death as they say they can't breathe, shooting them down unarmed. Maybe if you could see video of it, you would believe and understand why these men feel so helpless. But what would you do? That's how I feel about what happened last night. Now I hope you take that and you do the right thing. That's it. You got it? I'm gone.